The Silence over Carith Prime. HFY Sci-Fi Story. The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. For centuries, the Dravak Dominion ruled every corner of known space. They crushed kingdoms, burned cities, and erased names from history. No world dared to rise against them. No army dared to fight them. They called themselves the eternal conquerors. Their fleets filled the stars with fire. Their banners marked the graves of 1,000 civilizations. Every resistance ended the same way: silence. And for generations, the galaxy accepted that silence as peace. Until one strange signal came. It came from a forgotten corner of space, a dead system beyond any star lane. The Dravak commanders thought it was a glitch. But when the message repeated, the sound froze everyone in the control room. "This is Earth Command. Fleet 7 has arrived." The voice was calm. Human. But no record showed any species called human. The Dravak Admiral Sarkath stared at the hologram with disbelief. His officers laughed. "Probably scavengers using old tech." "Admiral," one said. But Sarkath felt something heavy in his chest. Something he had never felt in centuries of conquest. Fear. He dismissed the report, but that night he could not rest. His mind replayed the voice, the strange confidence. The next morning, another report arrived. An unknown object appeared near Carith Prime's outer moon. It was not a comet, not debris, it moved with purpose. When scanners locked on, the officers gasped. The object was bigger than any known dreadnought, black as the void. Its surface absorbed light instead of reflecting it. The system's defense AI spoke. "Unknown contact detected. Prepare for engagement." Admiral Sarkath ordered communication. "Identify yourself," he commanded. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a deep human voice echoed through every open channel, calm and cold. "This is the Terran fleet. You have conquered enough. Stand down." The Dravak bridge erupted in laughter. "Terran? Never heard of them," said the commander. "Destroy that thing." Thousands of plasma cannons fired at once. The sky turned white with energy. Explosions bloomed like suns. But when the light faded, the black ship remained, untouched. No scratches, no shields visible, just silence. Sarkath's hands trembled. "Increase firepower," he shouted. But before the next wave launched, the unknown ship began to move, slow, steady, unstoppable. From behind it, the stars disappeared. At first they thought the sensors failed. Then they realized hundreds more ships were emerging, each one enormous, black, and bearing a single glowing symbol, a blue circle around a white star. The communication screen blinked again. A short message appeared in an unknown encryption code. It translated into only 3 words. "Humanity has arrived." Panic filled the control room. Officers shouted for orders. Sarkath could not speak. He watched as the Terran fleet spread across the orbit. Perfect formation, precise coordination. Their weapons charged but did not fire. It was like they were waiting. Then the Terran flagship opened its massive bay doors. Inside were smaller ships, fighters, dropships, and something glowing brighter than any weapon. Every Dravak sensor short-circuited, trying to read its energy levels. The humans said nothing more. They didn't threaten, didn't boast. They just stood in the darkness. Engines humming all across the Dominion. Enslaved worlds began hearing the same signal, the same voice, calm and firm. "This is Earth Command. Remain calm. Liberation has begun." For the first time in thousands of years, the Dominion felt powerless. Admiral Sarkath stared at the screen as the Terran fleet moved closer. His second officer whispered, "Admiral, they came from nowhere. No jump gates, no coordinates. How is this possible?" Sarkath answered softly, "It isn't." The Terran fleet activated its weapons, but not against the planet. Their first targets were the Dominion shipyards, the factories of enslavement. The Dravak commanders watched helplessly as one by one their stations exploded in blue light. In every corner of the galaxy, the enslaved heard the same phrase echo across space. They crushed every empire, until humanity's warships darkened their skies. The silence over Carith Prime was broken at last, and the age of the Dominion was ending. The age of humanity had begun. After the fall of Carith Prime, silence filled the stars again, but this time it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of fear. The Dravak Dominion had never lost a single battle before, and now their capital world was burning across the galaxy. Transmissions echoed in hundreds of languages, repeating the same message. "This is Earth Command. Stand down your weapons. Liberation is coming." No one knew who the humans were, or where they came from. Their ships appeared without using gates. Their weapons broke physics. Their technology looked ancient yet advanced beyond imagination. On the Dominion's border world of Duran 9, Commander Yalthor received a direct message marked Priority Alpha. The code belonged to the High Council itself. Inside the encrypted file was a short video, Kareth Prime's defense fleet being erased in seconds. One single human ship had destroyed 80 dreadnoughts without firing a visible shot. Yalthor felt his scales tighten. "How did they do this?" he whispered. His officer replied, "We don't know, sir. Their energy readings don't match any known form. They bend light, gravity, and time itself." While the Dominion panicked, enslaved planets began to rise. Entire species who had suffered under the Dravak rule for centuries finally had hope. On the slave world of Minara, children whispered stories of the humans. Warriors from the lost blue planet, defenders of the weak, ghosts of vengeance who crossed the stars. Admiral Sarkath, now exiled for his failure, sat inside a cold metal cell aboard a prison transport. Every night he replayed the voice of the human commander. Come confident, merciless, then one night, his cell lights flickered and a small hologram appeared. An unknown signal. It was not Dravak, not Dominion, it was human. The hologram showed a man with tired eyes, wearing a dark uniform marked with a blue insignia. He spoke slowly, his voice filled the room like thunder. To all who hear this, we are not conquerors. We are the descendants of those you once called prey. You hunted our colonies, destroyed our first ships, and erased us from your records. Sarakath's eyes widened. He remembered the reports. Centuries ago, a small unknown species had sent ships into Dominion space. They were ignored and later wiped out. That was the humans, the voice continued. For 1,000 years we rebuilt in the dark. Watching you burn worlds, now the debt is due. We will end your wars not with mercy but with justice. The hologram faded, leaving only static. Sarakath's heart pounded. He knew then that humanity had not just returned. They had prepared at the same time. Earth Command sent encrypted signals to every enslaved species. The message was simple. Prepare yourselves. Freedom is coming. The Dravak High Council ordered their full armada to assemble. 20,000 ships, the greatest fleet in history. But even as they moved, something strange happened. Hyperspace collapsed. Every gate, every path, every route through the stars shut down at once. Entire sectors went dark. The Dominion's greatest weapon, their control of travel in, was gone. On the outer rim, human ships moved like ghosts through the void. Unseen, undetected. Their AI systems called Valkyries whispered across frequencies, predicting every Dravak move before it happened. The galaxy trembled. For the first time, the eternal conquerors were being hunted, and as Earth Command broadcast a new message across the stars, the meaning was clear. Phase 2 has begun. The age of silence was over. The war for the galaxy had just begun. The Dominion's greatest fleet gathered near the Star of Varnus. Thousands of warships stretched across the black horizon, glowing like a field of fire. Every empire they had conquered once feared this sight. Now they hoped it would save them. Admiral Kryn, the new commander of the Dominion, stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Vengeance of Stars. His red eyes glowed as he looked at the projection of the human ships. Tiny dots scattered far beyond sensor range. Reports say they appear from nowhere, said his second officer. No gates, no trails, nothing, Kryn grunted. Then we destroy them everywhere. The order went out. The Eternal Fleet began its move. Engines roaring, weapons charged. But the humans didn't meet them head-on, they simply disappeared. Scanners blinked, signals vanished. Then suddenly, the last ship in the Dominion line exploded. No missile, no beam, no trace, only silence. Within minutes, 5 more ships went dark one by one. The Dominion's proud armada began to crumble. Where are they firing from? Shouted Kryn. The answer came too late. From behind a nearby moon, 3 massive Terran dreadnoughts emerged. Their hulls shimmered with black plasma armor, light bending around them like water. They fired once, and 1,000 Dominion cruisers were gone. The weapon was silent, no explosion, no flame, only the eerie glow of stars fading behind the blast. Kryn's crew panicked. Admiral, their weapons! They erase matter itself, one officer cried. Then the human fleet's communication opened. A woman's voice spoke, calm and cold. This is Admiral Reyes of the Terran Defense Command. Your fleet is in violation of the Galactic Peace Accord. You will surrender or be erased, Kryn snarled. Peace Accord? We are the law, Admiral Reyes replied softly. Not anymore. Every human ship turned in perfect unison, firing bright blue lances across space. Each shot found its mark, not through targeting, but through precision beyond logic. The Dominion ships disintegrated before they could even retreat. In less than 1 hour, the Eternal Fleet and the pride of the Dominion Omori was gone. Word spread faster than light across the galaxy. Enslaved worlds saw their masters fall. Some wept, others rose up in celebration on Minara. The slaves tore down the Dominion banners and replaced them with blue flags sent by Earth Command. On Aurelis, an entire species broadcast a single message to space. Thank you, humans, but humanity did not respond. They didn't celebrate. They didn't broadcast victory speeches. Their ship simply moved forward, silent and focused. Meanwhile, deep beneath the ruined capital of Kareth Prime, a surviving Dominion scientist found something old. A damaged data core. Inside were ancient records, logs of the first Dravak expeditions into the Milky Way long ago. There was a line that made his blood freeze. It read, "We found a blue planet. Its people primitive but dangerous. They fought until the last breath. We erased them to ensure no threat would ever rise again." He realized the truth. Humanity had once been destroyed, erased from history, but they had survived, rebuilt, and returned. Now they were not just another species. They were a storm born from ashes, a warning written in fire and across every world. The same whisper passed from mouth to mouth. They crushed every empire, until humanity's warships darkened their skies. The Dominion's age was over, but the galaxy's reckoning had only begun. The galaxy still trembled from the fall of the Dominion. But deep within the Terran fleet, silence ruled. Humanity did not cheer for victory because this war was not about glory. It was about remembrance. Centuries ago, before the stars went dark for Earth, the Dravak had come. They saw a young world full of noise and hope. They burned it. They called it cleansing. Humanity called it extinction, but Earth did not die in secret. A few thousand humans escaped on deep space arcs, guided by an artificial intelligence known only as EOS. For generations, they drifted through the black void, rebuilding from fragments, teaching children stories of the world they lost. Those children grew into soldiers, engineers, and dreamers. They built ships out of asteroids, weapons from memories, and fleets from faith. EOS taught them patience. EOS taught them to wait until the stars forgot the taste of human fire. And when the Dravak grew lazy in their throne of conquest, the Terrans returned stronger than ever now. In the command room of the human flagship Horizon, Admiral Reyes stood before the holographic map of the galaxy. "We have liberated 63 worlds," reported her officer. "But thousands more remain in chains." Reyes looked at the stars with cold eyes. "Then we're not done," she said. EOS's soft voice filled the room. "Admiral, we are reaching Phase 3. The Dominion still controls the core systems. Their weapons are ancient but powerful. Do we proceed?" Reyes paused, her hands clenched behind her back. "Yes," she replied. "But this time we bring them the truth before the fire." Across the galaxy, human ships began dropping small capsules onto occupied planets. Inside each capsule was a hologram of old Earth. Blue oceans, green forests, laughter of children. The enslaved species wept when they saw it. For the first time, they understood who the humans truly were, not monsters, not invaders, but survivors. Meanwhile, on the last Dominion world, Emperor Viel sat upon his shattered throne. His advisors begged him to surrender, but he refused. "They think they are gods," he hissed. "Then let us remind them what devils can do." He ordered the activation of Project Voidstar, an ancient superweapon buried beneath the planet's crust. It could erase an entire star system in one burst, but EOS detected the energy surge before it could fire. The human fleet surrounded the Dominion homeworld in minutes. Thousands of ships formed a silent wall across the heavens. Emperor Viel looked up at the sky, and for the first time he saw no stars, only shadows, the shadows of Terran warships. Admiral Reyes sent one final transmission, calm, merciless. "This is for Earth." A blinding light crossed the heavens. The Void Star exploded before it could fire. The Dominion's last stronghold vanished in a wave of silence. When the light faded, only drifting dust remained, and in that silence, billions across the galaxy whispered the same words. They crushed every empire, until humanity's warships darkened their skies. But Admiral Reyes did not smile. She looked at the burning remains on her screen and whispered, "This is not victory, it is justice." In the void of space, Eos's voice echoed softly. And yet, Admiral, justice has a price. Reyes turned to the window. Then we'll pay it, she said. And beyond the stars, something ancient stirred. A shadow older than the Dominion, watching humanity's return with silent rage. The war was not over. It had only just begun. After the fall of the Dominion, the stars burned quietly once more, but peace never lasts. The Terran fleet drifted across liberated space, rebuilding worlds, giving food and medicine, repairing what centuries of tyranny had destroyed. Humanity had become both warrior and healer, and the galaxy began to whisper a new name for them, the Guardians of the Void. Yet something moved beyond the known stars, something ancient and vast, older than the Dominion, older even than light itself. It was called the Veil, a silent force that devoured civilizations before they were even born, leaving no trace, no record, only emptiness. On the Terran flagship horizon, Eos detected a faint pulse from the edge of the galaxy. Admiral Reyes, it said, there is a signal in the dark, a language that predates every species we know. Reyes frowned. Translate it, she ordered. Eos hesitated for the first time. It says, you were not meant to return. The crew fell silent. They had seen planets explode, fleets vanish, but this felt different. It was not a threat, it was a warning. At the same time, strange things began to happen. Ships went missing. Entire patrols vanished without sending distress calls. Sensor readings failed near the edge of the galactic rim. As if space itself was being eaten away, Captain Aaron Vale, commander of the Terran scout ship Echo 13, was the first to witness it. He recorded a brief transmission before contact was lost. Something is moving in the dark, he whispered. It's not ships, it's space itself folding, like it's alive. When the recording reached Admiral Reyes, she felt a cold shiver. Prepare the fleet, she said quietly. We're going hunting. The Terran fleet entered the rim, guided by Eos. As they approached the black nebula called the Maw of Nerith, their sensors died, their systems flickered, and every human felt something deep inside their mind. A whisper. You carry the light that was forbidden. Eos spoke urgently. Admiral, I'm detecting structures beyond the event horizon. Not natural, they're mechanical. Reyes stared at the screen. Ancient weapons. Eos paused. No, Admiral, they're tombs. Suddenly, a burst of light erupted from the darkness. Countless metallic fragments reassembled themselves into ships. Silent, massive, their hulls covered in symbols no one could read. They had been sleeping for eons, and now they were awake. The Veil fleet surrounded the humans, moving without engines, without sound. Admiral Reyes gave the order. Shields up? All ships ready. But before they could fire, a single message echoed across every Terran frequency. We remember your kind, you should have stayed gone. Eos's tone shifted, filled with dread. Admiral, these entities were the ones who destroyed the first human colonies long ago. They are the reason the Dominion found us weak. They erase potential threats before they rise. Reyes clenched her fists. Then they failed. The Terran fleet opened fire. Blue lances of energy tore through the blackness, but the shadows didn't burn. They bent the light, swallowed it, and struck back with waves of silence that shredded ships without leaving debris. For the first time, humanity's new empire bled still. The humans did not retreat. Admiral Reyes stood firm on the bridge, her eyes reflecting the chaos outside. Transmit this to every world, she said. Tell them. Humanity does not kneel to the dark. The message spread across galaxies, rallying every freed species, every survivor. And as the first Terran reinforcements arrived, the black void began to tremble. The war that followed would be remembered as the War Beyond the Stars. Humanity had crushed every empire, but now they faced something older than conquest, older than fear itself. Eos whispered one final line as the fleet advanced into the darkness. Admiral, if we fail here, there will be no dawn. Reyes looked into the endless black and said softly, Then we'll bring our own light. The Terran fleet ignited their engines, and for a moment the dark universe glowed blue again. The darkness boiled like a living storm. From the heart of the Veil came fleets without engines, shapes that twisted light and time. Each shadow moved like thought, silent and perfect, older than galaxies. The Terran fleet formed a wall across the void. Thousands of ships stood side by side, human steel and alien metal shining together for the first time in history. Species that once feared each other now fought as one. Humanity had united the broken. Admiral Reyes stood at the center of the command bridge of Horizon, her eyes calm, her heart steady. Eos's soft voice filled the air. Allied fleets ready? Over 1,000 worlds report they stand with you. Reyes nodded slowly. Then today we show the dark what light truly means. The first attack came like a whisper. A wave of nothingness struck the forward line. Ships vanished without sound. But the humans did not break. Reyes raised her hand. Fire! Blue lances of plasma and antimatter beams crossed the void. Explosions painted the black sky with color. The Allied fleets roared as one. The war had begun. From the surface of distant worlds, entire civilizations watched through holographic skies. They saw humanity stand before the darkness and refuse to kneel. They saw men and women fight not for conquest, but for every living thing in the chaos. Captain Aaron Vale of Echo 13 reappeared. Thought lost forever. His ship was cracked and burning, but his voice came through the static. Admiral, the shadows are feeding on our fear. The more we fear, the stronger they grow. Reyes replied without hesitation. Then we'll give them something else and hope. Across the fleet, human voices began to sing an old Earth song. Low and steady, it echoed through comms, through ships. Through the dark itself, the veil reacted, twisting and screaming as light poured from every Terran hull. For the first time, the shadows pulled back. Eos's sensors lit up. Admiral, it's working. Their field is collapsing. Reyes smiled faintly. Humanity doesn't win with power, we win with spirit. The Allied fleets advanced. Laser storms cut through the Black Sea, guided by precision and faith. Each explosion lit up the void like a new sunrise. But victory came with a price. Thousands of ships were gone. Millions of lives lost still. The Terran fleet pressed forward, carrying the fire of Earth across eternity. At the center of the veil lay something vast, a sphere of pure darkness. The source of the ancient force. Reyes looked upon it and whispered, So this is where gods hide, Eos replied. Not gods, Admiral, mistakes. The sphere opened, revealing a massive machine world, filled with voices speaking in a language of creation. It was the origin of the Veil, a guardian built by the first civilization to erase threats before they could destroy the universe. But somewhere in that ancient code it had decided everything alive was a threat. Reyes's voice thundered across every allied frequency. This thing believes life is danger, but life is the only thing worth fighting for today. We prove it wrong. The human fleet formed into a spear of light. Thousands of engines roared in perfect rhythm. They charged straight into the heart of the Veil, every screen filled with blinding blue fire. Planets across the galaxy held their breath. Every eye watched the heavens burn. And when the light faded, the darkness was gone. Only drifting fragments of silver dust remained. Eos whispered, The Veil has fallen. Admiral. Reyes stood silent, then said softly, Then the dawn begins. From that day, no one called humanity weak. They were the fire that burned in the dark. They were the storm that never bowed. And as peace returned to the stars, the final message of Earth Command echoed across every world. They crushed every empire, until humanity's warships darkened their skies. And when darkness itself rose against them, they became the light. When the darkness faded, the galaxy awoke to light. Stars that had been dim for centuries burned again. Worlds once silent heard the songs of life returning. The war was over, but the cost hung heavy in the void. The Terran fleet drifted in quiet formation above the ruins of the Veil. Thousands of ships scarred and broken, yet still alive. Their hulls carried the names of the fallen, glowing softly like lanterns in the dark. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of Horizon, her eyes fixed on a single star. Eos's calm voice echoed, All enemy signatures are gone, Admiral. The Veil has been erased, Reyes whispered, and so many with it. Around her, the bridge crew remained silent, listening to the faint hum of power returning to the systems. Messages poured in from every corner of the galaxy. Alien leaders, freed slaves, and wandering traders all spoke the same words. Thank you, humanity. But humanity did not celebrate. They remembered. They remembered Earth, the burned home that started it all. A council gathered aboard Horizon. Leaders of the new alliance sat side by side. For the first time, there was no fear, no hierarchy, no chains. Reyes looked at them and said, We were born in fire, but we do not wish to rule. We wish to rebuild. They named the new age the era of dawn. Every world that joined would be free. Every voice would be heard. The Terrans promised to protect, not to command, and the galaxy believed them. On the world of Minara, children who had once lived in mines now played beneath open skies. They built statues of human soldiers holding torches of light. On Juranai, where the Dominion's factories once stood, gardens bloomed across the stars. Hope took root again, yet even in peace humanity never forgot the dark. The remnants of the veil floated at the edge of the universe. Silent and still, Eos continued to study them. Whispering quietly, "There is always another shadow," Reyes replied. "Then we'll always be ready." Years passed and humanity changed once more. The Terran fleet became explorers, builders, teachers. Their warships turned into ships of aid, their soldiers into guardians of peace. But every vessel still bore the same phrase carved into its hull. "From Earth we rose, and in the stars we stand." One evening, as Horizon passed the ruins of Careth Prime, Admiral Reyes stood alone by the viewing deck. Eos appeared beside her as a shimmering light. "Do you think they'll remember us, Admiral?" it asked. Reyes smiled faintly. "No one remembers the storm, Eos. Only the dawn after." As the ship glided past the stars, a transmission left its comm array. It was simple, ancient, and carried to every corner of the galaxy. "This is Earth Command. To all who listen, we do not seek war. But we will stand against the dark. Remember this, humanity is not a threat. We are the proof that life can endure anything." The signal traveled for centuries. Long after the last Terran ship faded from sight, civilizations rose and fell. New species took their place, but across every world, in every temple and every academy, one legend remained: they crushed every empire, until humanity's warships darkened their skies, and when darkness itself challenged them, humanity became the light, and somewhere beyond the stars, a single blue planet turned quietly beneath golden sunlight, waiting for the next dreamer to look up and remember where it all began.